And congratulations on the victory. I know it's kind of a weird ending, but obviously, you know, a very exciting fight while it lasted. How satisfied are you as you sit there right now with the performance tonight?
You know, you never want to get a win that way, but what happened was a result of checking a kick. You know, I'm more than sure of it. And, you know, he got what he had coming to him, man. Karma's a mirror. And I busted my ass for so long to put myself in this position. I doubled down on myself after beating him in January when they offered me a title shot. You know, I doubled down on myself and it paid off.
Nice. You were in there with him, obviously, just 6 months ago, so, you know, you're familiar with him at this point. How did that first round play out? Did anything surprise you? I mean, he did have a couple of decent moments in there. Did anything surprise you at all?
When he jumped for a guillotine, that surprised me. Nah, he hit me with a good left hand. I kind of was at an angle. I didn't see it. It was like a downward left hand. The kid can punch, man. He really can. He hit me with a good left hand. I thought he was going to use calf kicks against me, and I was right. Yeah, that's about it.
Jump the ghillie, your signature move there, right?
Don't be silly, jump the ghillie.
It did look a little bit in there. I was trying to figure out. It looked like you were complaining a little bit to Herb Dean.
Oh, that's why I let him up. That's why I let him up at the end of the, yeah, I don't know. But I let him up because he had 3 fingers in my glove, you know, the cuff of the tape, so it's a good grip. And he's pulling me down into up kicks. He's pulling me down and kicking up at the same time. You know, I'm not surprised that he does that type of stuff, you know.
You know, like you said, it's not the way you want a fight to end, right? But I do wonder, I mean, he said you were going to be leaving on a stretcher. He ends up leaving on a stretcher. I mean, do you take any satisfaction in that?
Listen, Conor said some nasty stuff that didn't make it on Embedded, and maybe when this behind the scenes for this fight airs, you'll see him on the ground still saying some real bad stuff. But even that stuff being said, I don't wish, you know, serious harm like that on nobody. The guy's got kids. I want him to go home safe to his family. I pray before these fights. Every time before I walk through the octagon door, I'm praying that not for me to win. I'm praying that we both get out of this safe, because, you know, I know what I'm going to try to do to him. I know what he's going to try to do to me. You know.
He said afterwards the rivalry's not over. Dana White was here earlier, and Dana said, you know, obviously you're going to fight for the title next, but at some point you do the rematch down the line. Do you feel like the rivalry is over? Or do you feel like...
No, we are going to fight again, whether it's in the octagon or on the sidewalk. You don't say the stuff he said, you know.
How much do you think beating him twice will help your charitable efforts? Because now you're a much more notable fighter than you were, say, in December of last year, having beaten Conor McGregor twice. Do you think about that and think it'll make more of an impact for other people because of these 2 wins?
Yeah, anytime you beat a guy like that on a stage like this, you know, I don't know, this was a big fight. A lot of eyes were on this, and I got to talk about the good fight a little bit in the post-fight interview. But not only in the post-fight interview, my career, my star gets bigger. More people are Googling, and I'm reaching more, you know, more people. And with that, we can set bigger goals and just keep the good fight going. I have very big plans. We're going back to Uganda to build housing on land we bought. With the overflow money after we built the water wells during the Khabib fight, me, Manny Pacquiao, Justin Wren are all coming together with our nonprofits, and we're going there. We're going to build on 40 acres, and I'm just excited and proud and happy to be in a spot like that, to be able to recognize the position I'm in, and I want it to keep growing, and these kind of fights do that.
Last question for me, and I know, you know, you said you don't want to talk about an Oliveira fight, but is it going to be difficult in your mind, like, you know, McGregor was such a big obstacle to overcome the last time because he had beaten you the first time, this time to prove it wasn't a fluke. Now you get to Oliveira, and he's just a dude in the division, right, you know, that happens to have the belt. Mentally, will that be a hurdle, and will that be a little bit of a challenge during camp to get yourself back to that same place?
No, he's not just a guy in the division who happens to have the belt. He's a guy who's picked himself up off the canvas time and time again, you know, fought through adversity, through 2 weight classes, been in the UFC a decade. He's not just a guy with a belt, you know, he's earned every ounce of gold he has around his waist, and I have nothing but respect for guys like that. I don't know him personally, but his work history, you know, I can't hate on anything he's done. The guy, you know, it's incredible. That's tougher to do than, I think, you know, to go undefeated, you know, because you never learn things about yourself. You learn so much about those about yourself in those losses, and of climbing back up to the top and getting motivated again. You know, that's when you find out you're a real fighter. I'm not saying that these undefeated guys aren't, but I'm just saying I have respect for somebody like that who's climbed back up and won a world championship.
I want to get your reaction on you know, some of the, I guess, the mixed reaction from the crowd tonight when you came out, you know, after the finish. You know, you're a guy who tries really hard to do everything right. You have a charity, you're a family man, and you know, they're cheering someone like Conor, you know, over you. Even with all the things that he said, you know, some things that, like you said, were maybe crossed the line. I mean, the fans' reaction, how does that make you feel?
Man, fans, you know, I appreciate them. I appreciate them filling up the seats, and they're going to root for who they're going to root for. Like I said, it's noise. You know, I don't really overthink that stuff anymore. It's just noise. Thank you for buying the ticket.
All week, you did a pretty good job of not getting into the trash talk too much. You kind of took the high road all week. But in the post-fight press conference, it seemed like he kind of dug into that a little bit. Did he say something to you afterwards in the cage that triggered that? And if so, what was it?
Yeah, he was saying, he was putting, dude, I hope they show the behind-the-scenes stuff, man. He was, like, still sitting on the ground, still saying, I'm going to kill you. He was putting his hand to his head like a gun. Like, bro, chill out. Chill out. He was saying that.
If you never got into fighting, what do you think you would have ended up doing?
I don't know. I was getting in a lot of trouble before fighting, man. I'm not sure. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did for sure.
Would you mind to talk a little bit more about Oliveira? How do you see you can beat him? How do you see him as your next opponent?
I haven't started getting with my coaches and breaking down footage and doing all that, you know, everything that comes along with preparing for an opponent. But I'll probably just calf kick him. Probably.
Lastly, I'm not sure if you saw it while you were in the back. When Tuivasa was coming out and leaving the cage, he was doing some shoeys. I don't know if you saw somebody poured him a shoey, but actually put your hot sauce in there as well. I don't know if you actually saw. He wasn't the biggest fan, but I don't think he was blaming on the fact of your sauce. It was just the fact that somebody actually put hot sauce in with beer. He said it was a no-go.
From a shoe?
In a shoe.
Don't blame it on the sauce, blame it on the feet, you know what I mean? Thank you, guys.